take for subject on this morning, who do you say that he is? Or what is he to you? Jesus asked the question, and all of the disciples were there, and he asked a common question because of all the gossip that had been going around, because of all the unbelief that the people had. We have to remember that when you read this passage, a miracle had just happened. Jesus had took 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread and fed a multitude of 5,000 men, and not including the women and children. Now I know if there were 5,000 men, I can imagine how many more women that were there. The women have always outnumbered the men. And I'm pretty sure just to try to see not only that, but the children. How many more children were there? And yet, the people didn't believe. And here in this passage, even Jesus himself knew that the disciples had some doubt in their heart, because before Jesus had begun to feed the 5,000, the disciples came to him and told him, it's getting late, and we need to send the folk into town to get something to eat. But Jesus wasn't worried about where they needed to go get something to eat, because he knew all things. And he wasn't just concerned about the eating part, he was concerned about their souls. And he knew that if they got hungry, he could do what? Didn't God send manna from heaven to the children of Israel in the wilderness? Didn't he send quail for them to eat in the wilderness? Didn't he spit water out of a rock in the wilderness? Did not their shoes go weary in the wilderness? Did not their clothes go weary in the wilderness? But here the disciples asked the question, what are we going to do about food? And Jesus let them know that they didn't have to worry about food. Just find me somebody with something, anything. Just get anything. I imagine if it would have been 1 piece of bread. Jesus was going to do even more greater with the 1 piece. But because the young man had 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Now I don't know how big the loaves were. But if he was a young boy, I'm pretty sure they wasn't great big loaves. I imagine they were little bitty loaves. To make it even more greater, and the fish that he had wasn't the size of a big codfish. I imagine they were the size of maybe the little perches that the little boy may have caught. And you got to be able to understand one thing. Jesus said, I don't need a great big thing to make something if I can just get just a little something. And I want you to know one thing. If you got just a little faith, God can do great things with just a little faith. For the Bible said, if you have faith of a mustard seed, and I found the mustard seed to be the smallest seed that you can get. And when the seed is planted, it grows into a great big tree. But I'm here to tell you today, all you need is just a little trust in God. All you need is just a little faith in God. Somebody there, I wish I had somebody that would say, trust in God.
Trust in God.
If you trust in Him. Now, I want to take you here because, see, Jesus on his way on the coast, walking among his brethren, and he asked the question to them. And sometimes you need to be asked the question, where is God in your life? Where does he stand in your life? And because sometimes you so caught up in your life that you don't recognize when God is not in your life.
All right. Hallelujah.
Well, amen, ladies. Because see, the Bible say everybody that say yeah, they ain't gonna make it in. There's a whole lot of folks in. God is the head of my life, but their life don't exemplify the life of Christ. And that makes the life, Christ's life, not be true because the life you live in. I heard the Bible say that in the last days that they would use the natural use of themselves and deny the power thereof, saying that God can't change them. But the devil is a lie. God can change anybody. He can make a nobody into somebody. Yes, he can, because here old Simon Peter is the knife thrower, the cutter, the curser, the fighter, the liar, the cheater, the backbiter. You all know how Peter was, but him, Peter, answered the question. All the other men that were with him, the women that was around him too, they couldn't answer the question. But Peter said, thou art the whom. He said, whom do they say? Peter said, thou art the Son